This is a channeled message from the angels, and this is an important one. They are telling us that the angels have begun moving into the new reality. So that is, they told us in the past that they were going to move ahead of us. Now they're telling us that that time has come, that they have started. So welcome back to my channel, you guys. If you are new here, my name is Ann Tucker. I am a trance channel. I channel from the angelic realm. That means I raise my awareness up as high as I can go, a little higher. The messages start to come through. I transcribe them and I share them here with you on YouTube. And in this message, like I said, the angels have told us before that they were gonna move into the new reality first. Here they're telling us that that process has started. So this is a big important marker in terms of our own ascension. They're also in this message sharing some words of encouragement for those people who have chosen not to come, those who would find that they are going to have more benefit by staying within the karmic construct. And they have some words for them to help them with some of their fears or their worries about what might be coming. So anyways, if you would like to experience the angels live, if you want to experience a healing with the angels, you can join me. I do this once a month. I do what's called peace bathing, and you can find out about it on my website. The next one coming up is November 21st, and in these sessions, you will experience a live session with the angels over Zoom, where they bring you up into the realm of peace and hold you there. And they're helping us through this process of being in that high vibration. They're helping us to move into our ascension. Wonderful healings happen, and they're different every time. So hopefully you'll be interested to come and join us and check it out. So for today's message, I'm going to go ahead and dig in. It's a good one. It's intense, but I think you're going to find it's really helpful.
So today's message is going to be, it's kind of two parts, and it's really interesting if you think about this message. So in the past, in some of our most recent messages, the angels told us that they are going to be moving into this new sort of dimension that we're all moving into, that they said they are moving there first ahead of us. So they told us that. And they told us that, and it's interesting because they gave me a message about it many months ago, but then I got another message and I actually never shared it. And it was kind of, I didn't think it was that important. Like I thought it was an interesting message, but I didn't know it was like a share this message. So I was gonna, I had it. It was like, okay, I'll work that in sometime. Well, they came back around and they talked about that same subject again, but this time with a little more, it was more direct. And I am glad you're finally able to tune in. So glad you could make it live. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. So, but the second time they talked about it, it was more pressing, because they basically were saying like, hey, we need you guys to know this, because they are transitioning first. And there's going to be a period where we may feel like we lose connection with them, where we feel like all of a sudden it's like, hey, where'd they go? And it doesn't mean that you won't be able to connect to your guides, because you have guides and then you also have angels. So they're not saying the guides are going, they're saying the angels are going over. So it's just the angelic presence that we would not be able to feel. So in any case, they're now, and it makes a ton of sense. Like it kind of blew my mind, like 1111, that's sort of this intense energetic portal. They're saying they have started to transition, that they are moving on, and they say it in this message. So if you think about, if you're an angel and they've been telling us this is going to come, they've been telling us this is going to happen, what would you say on a day like that? And that's pretty much what they said. And it is, so anyways, the message, I would kind of break it out in two parts. And the first part is, I would describe it as a speech for those that are leaving the Earth School. It's kind of like, it's not a goodbye message, but it is like, what would you say to comfort those people who are not coming along? And that's the first part of the message. And you can receive this as what you would think of in terms of like those people that you care about, that you think that they're not interested in moving into the next dimension, that they really want to stay in the karmic Earth School, that they're not ready to let go of this place, or the lessons that they're working through, or whatever it is. So you can have that in mind, is that this message is for them. What might you think about, or what might you feel for those people that you care about that might be in that position? Because there's going to be a lot of people who are not ready, who feel like there's still a lot for them to learn through the karmic process. So the first part of the message is a speech to them. And I got to tell you, as the message was coming through, like everything came through clearly, but it was not as fluid as it normally is. And some of that was, as soon as they start talking about like hard stuff, sometimes I tense up a little bit. And so the message becomes a little more staccato, like short sentences. It's almost like every sentence is a paragraph. But I think it may also have to do with the fact that they are going through this transition. So the message came through a little differently. The second piece of the message, the second half of it, is more about the fact that they are rising now. So it's kind of two parts, but I feel like it's one message. Just think about what they would say, right? If they're leaving, of course they're going to say a message to the people who aren't coming along, right? And then they're going to talk about the process of their leaving. So that's how I received it. So, but they're not super, they kind of say you, meaning them, that in terms of their use of pronouns and their use of time is kind of all over the place. So we'll just talk it through and you can follow along as we go. They're not super tied, given that angels are a unified consciousness, that they're not super attached to you versus me versus them. It's kind of like us. And they're also not super attached to time. So when it comes to using pronouns, they can get a little fluid. So it can be a little hard to follow, but I think it makes sense. So I just wanted to have that little preface so that we can all receive it in the right way, or in a way that I think is consistent with their intent. But then, like I said, take what works, what serves you, and then leave behind the rest. So good morning. Hey, Wendy, good to see you. All right, so here we go. Are you ready? They say, and this is a message I channel on 11/11. I channeled this yesterday. They say, we say you cower under the pressures. We form an embrace to separate you now. This happening circumstance arrives. It comes. It's ready. You are fearing the worst. It does not affect all. It is happening how we perceive it to be in readiness for our mutual ascension. So this is just the introduction. They are talking about the shift to this sort of new reality that we're all moving into. So this could be related to earth changes. And there's been a lot of, I've been talking to friends lately, other people that I know that have been receiving prophetic messages about like, what is going to happen first? How is all this stuff going to unfold in terms of earth changes, economic shifts? There's so many different things. And now there's people saying they've been having prophetic dreams. And yes, they are prophetic dreams about, tsunamis hitting the East Coast. It seems like it's just too much. Like could it be metaphoric? Is it about, I thought at one point that it was waves of the coronavirus. I actually don't think that anymore. But I think the coronavirus was a wave. I think we're going to have actual physical earth changes like they describe, but whatever it is that shifts us, I also think there's going to be this economic stress that I think is the peak. It's like, I think it really comes in with the February changes in the United States. I shared that one video. So I think February is a peak moment for economic stress in the US that affects the world. But whatever form it takes, whatever it is that moves us into this new dimension, they're saying it arrives, right? The circumstances, this happening circumstance arrives, it comes, it's ready. And they're saying you're fearing the worst. It does not affect all. It is happening how we perceive it to be in readiness for our mutual ascension. And by that, when they say it does not affect all, they've said before that it's like not all things happen in all places, that it could be like one area is affected by tsunami, another area is affected by economic circumstances. It's going to be, it's going to be more spread out than that, I guess, from what my understanding is. I hope that makes sense. All right, so here they go into this, what I'm calling the speech to those who are leaving. They say, but not all are empowered to leave us now. Stay, be ready where you are now, betrothed to what you have now upon your heart, the matters of life. The light you are readies itself. Your housing does not. Your bodies relinquished, no more incarnate, no need. For asunder they will lie and topple beneath the force of this eruption beneath the soil. The upturning of earth, the wonder, it comes, it arrives. So this is the first section of this. And they're really speaking, like I said, to those who will be departing in this shift. There will be some people who have chosen to stay in the karmic construct, and who are choosing to leave the earth at this time of ascension. And they're saying, so they start out, they say, but not all are empowered to leave us now. So this is speaking to those who are not really in a place where they're ready to move into the new dimension. And to those people, they're saying, stay, be ready where you are now, betrothed to what you have now upon your heart, the matters of life. So they're saying, like, it's okay to stay, like, just stay where you are, stay involved in the sort of the stuff that you are trying to work through, just the matters of life, right? Like how are you leading, the things that occupy your daily life, or the people that you care about, that you know are in this circumstance, or saying to them, stay, like just be calm, go ahead and stay involved in the life as you have it. They're saying the light, despite that, despite the fact that those that you're thinking of, despite the fact that they are involved in matters of life, that they're not really attuned to the spiritual stuff, they're not really paying attention to the fact that we're going through this ascension, that they're saying it's okay to remain just involved in sort of the 3D, taking your garbage out. That's okay. They're saying even though they're going to be in that state, involved in the matters of life, the light that you are readies itself. So they are light inside, just like everybody here is light inside. They're saying that light readies itself. So they have the higher self permission, right, for their moving on. They're saying the light you are readies itself. Your housing does not. So the physical body can't come along. So they may be moving on to a new 3D karmic school. The body that they have right now can't come. It's tied to earth. So they're saying your body's relinquished. No more incarnate, no need. So they're saying, yes, these people, their physical body will pass, that it will not come along on the journey. And they're saying, no need. And they're saying, for asunder they will lie and topple. The physical bodies will, so they're just leaving them behind. So they say, I like that the choice of words here, I hope it's not too graphic, but they say, if asunder they will lie and topple. So it's just that idea that it's like you just discard it like an old jacket you just don't need anymore, right? You leave it behind. And what matters is the light that you are inside. Though they lie and they asunder, they will lie and topple beneath the force of this eruption beneath the soil. So as this sort of shifting, the healing of the earth comes up, then the physical bodies are left behind. The upturning of the earth, the wonder, they call it. So this is really like, it's not a scary thing, a bad thing. It's the wonder, it's the magic, the amazement of this healing process. They say it comes, it arrives. All right, moving on to the next paragraph. They say, all are now ready, prepared for what is beneath, to rise up and to take on the light we are housing. So they're saying that everybody is ready for what's coming up. Everyone, everybody that you know is ready at the higher self level, right? People may not be totally unaware this is happening, but at the higher self level, they know and they're ready. And that's what's important about this sentence, is they're basically saying that everybody on earth, all of our higher selves, are now aware of this. So that's a big statement, I think. So they're saying, and Amina is saying, hi, Anne, happy Friday. We are being asked to surrender and go with the flow. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's such a consistent message. It's such an important message that we get over and over about how to move into this new dimension, is about being in the flow. And you're saying, I'm frozen on your phone. Uh-oh. Hopefully it's not like, it's not like in some weird frozen position. So if it is, hopefully that'll just catch up really quick. So, okay, anyways. So it's going on to say, so I'm going to go ahead and reread this paragraph. So I want to try to give you the paragraph as a whole, and then we'll go back and dissect it. Because like I said, each of these sentences is packed. So they say, all are now ready, prepared for what is beneath, to rise up and to take on the light we are housing. For your demise will not arrive in timely circumstance. It comes as you are now in readiness, in how you attire yourself. Your means justified your presence, how you have been. Fear not dire forthcomings. You are rising as well as one might. So what they're saying here, they're saying, like I said, that all are now ready. That's the first part. They're saying that everybody on earth, all of our higher selves, are now bought into this whole process. And everybody is choosing. Are they going to move into the new reality, or are they going to stay in the karmic construct and go to the other earth school? Or some of them will live their life out here on earth, and then they won't return. They'll go to the other school. They're saying, they're prepared to take on the light we are housing. They say, for your demise, speaking to those who are not choosing to move on, for your demise will not arrive in timely circumstance. So they're saying that it's not going to be a thing where you get to be like in the perfect spot where it's like, okay, let me go put on my perfect clothes and my perfect hair and be ready. Okay, take me now. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be like, it comes when it comes, and it might not be the perfect timing for everybody. They're saying that it will not arrive in timely circumstance. It comes as you are now in readiness, and how you attire yourself. So they're saying that that for not everybody is done with the lessons that they're trying to learn, and they're not able to wrap up this life with a tidy little bow and say, okay, I've done what I want to do. They're saying it's not going to be in perfect circumstance for everybody. Some people are going to be right in the middle of things, and they're going to be like, wait, I really wanted to finish that. And they'll say, I'm sorry, it's just this school is done. We can't stay any longer. So they're saying they're taking you as, taking whoever it is that is staying, they're taking them, or, moving on to this other earth school. They're saying they're taking them as they are now. It comes as you are now in readiness. So whatever you are now, that's what you are. And that's good. That is good. They're saying in how you attire yourself. So whatever circumstance the person is in now, that's how they're taking them. They're saying your means justified your presence, how you have been. And this is really speaking to the fact that for those people who are really locked in the karmic construct, who are still really working through those lessons, they may feel like that they may worry about, like, there's lots of stuff that we hear about on earth about judgment day and about being judged and about, like, are they going to go to the other side? Are they going to go to heaven and have someone tell them that they did it wrong and not have mended their ways or righted their wrongs? And they're saying, no, they're saying that your means justified your presence, how you have been, that all of us came in with certain life lessons to learn. And they're saying, hey, if you came in and chose a life that was really hard, or chose circumstances that formed your character for any person, formed their character, so that they ended up maybe leading a life where they hurt other people because they were wounded as children and they hadn't had a chance to fix that yet, right? They hadn't had a chance to come to terms with that and to grow from that. They were still locked in that karma. They're saying, hey, your means justified your presence, how you have been. They're saying everybody gets a hall pass. Everybody gets a free pass. We understand, right? That everybody's being interrupted in the middle of what they were going through. And they go on to say, fear not dire forthcomings. That it's like, it doesn't mean they're not going to be judged harshly for that. It's just a process. They're saying, hey, this is happening. Everybody's sort of plan is, you might not have been able to finish it all. There's no judgment here. Come exactly as you are. That's the real message here. For those who are not moving on, they are welcome to come exactly as they are. And they're saying you are rising as well as one might. So they're saying you're doing the best they can. That those who are saying they're doing the best that they can. So hopefully that makes sense. And I think it's really meant to be a message of comfort for us as we think about those who are not choosing to move on. And for anybody who hears this, who feels like they would prefer to stay in the karmic school, right? And like I said, there's absolutely no judgment in that. It is the whole point of our existence is to try to learn, and the karmic school is an amazing way to learn. So, but the big message here is there is still, I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot of people on earth believe that it's not just, we're not all able to just sort of cross over in peace, that there is some sort of judgment or some sort of trial that we have to go through to make it to into our spirit bodies. And that's not true. And they're saying, come exactly as you are. You're rising as well as one might. And you're saying, do they know this time for this event this year or 2022? They do not give us timing. All I can tell you is that they have told us that they are rising before us. And what they're telling us in this message is that they're rising now. So they told us in previous messages that they would be rising. And I just channeled this yesterday, and this message is about them starting to rise. So we're in it. Like, we're in it now. And if they're going, that means that we're not far behind. But far behind is it's angelic time. They don't give us a specific time. So, but this is important. This is definitely a mark in terms of looking at the timing. The fact that they're moving over means we're not too far behind. All right, so they go on to say, still speaking to those who are not gonna move into the new reality. They're saying, wander, peaceful opening, peaceful becoming. You are now within the realm of peaceful happening. Fear not our presence felt, our encumbered stare, our grace. Our housing is light. Our presence is felt by all. And this is really, again, like I said, that message of comfort to anybody who might not, the people that you care about, who might not be coming. They're saying this experience of transition, and they said this before, the experience of transition is there. I had this visual of the angels coming down and just scooping everybody up in a big embrace, just lifting everyone up out of it, that it's not going to be an experience of like terror and awful. It's like, wander, peaceful opening, peaceful becoming. So it's like the moving on is this peaceful experience. You are now within the realm of peaceful happening. So as this happens, they're moving into a realm of peaceful happening. Fear not our presence felt, our encumbered stare, our grace. They're really saying, like, when they transition, angels can be, I think if you were to encounter, if any of us were to encounter an angel in their actual, the way they actually are, it would maybe be scary because it's a powerful energy, and they're not cuddly beings. Right? Like they're intense beings. Their energies, and there's incredible loving power. It makes me think of like how much are we able to let in love. And my understanding of when we cross over, at least historically, when we've crossed over from the earth school, when we've crossed over to the other side, the process of coming over, you probably have heard of the bright light and people moving towards the bright light, right? And my understanding of how that happens is that it's almost like a filter, that the bright light is pure love, is pure source energy. And as you cross over, you move toward that source energy. And the more love you're able to let in, the further you go. And you can get closer and closer and closer to that source light. And then you'll get to a place where it's like you just can't handle it anymore. It's just overwhelming. It's too much. And then you fall away. And that's where you're at. That's as far as you've transitioned. And so as you progress spiritually, as you open your heart and you get rid of more and more blocks and you become more and more clear, the further you can go in that progression, you get closer and closer to source. So, but the experience is one of, you get to a place where it's just so intense. It's amazing, it's wonderful, but so intense that you can't handle it anymore. And I think that may be a little bit of the experience of the angels, is that it's wonderful, lovely, but also intense. They're saying, like I was talking about, where was I? Fear not our presence felt, our encumbered stare. And I think encumbered by God's light is what they're talking about, our encumbered stare, because they are, right, they are God's source light on earth, our grace. It's saying, fear it not, it is intense. They say, our housing is light, our presence is felt by all. Anyways, hopefully that makes sense to you guys, but that's how I understand that. And you're saying, will we know who will stay and who will go? I don't think so. I think it's at the, like I said, the higher self is who chooses, chooses for, each person has, and they've said it earlier in the message that, that everybody has now pretty much, everybody knows it's coming at the higher self level. And I think you probably know for yourself, if you, being here and listening to these messages, you've chosen. Like you want to come along, and that means you get to come along, right? It's a choice about where do you think you're going to learn the most. And so much of that is about our awareness of the fact that, everything is for us, that we are creating our reality, that we are creators. And it's that shift in perspective from being so immersed in the matrix to being outside of the matrix and looking at it and recognizing that we are part of this whole construct, that we are creating our reality. And you're here, you're already there. So, I mean, you could choose if you wanted to stay, if you felt like that it was going to be more beneficial. But I guess most of us, I mean, the new reality is going to be so amazing from what they described. I wouldn't want to miss out on it. I want to go. And they really want for as many of us to go as possible. So I believe that, I believe that as long as you are willing, you're ready. And you're saying, thank you so much. And channel messages are only as good as their translators' translations. And you are, oh, thank you so much. It is so kind of you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So, okay, so let's move on. The next part of the message. So that's the message, that there was really a speech, and it makes sense that the angels would be saying this now as they're leaving. If they're leaving the earth, if they're moving into the new reality, of course they're going to kind of say goodbye to those who are not going to come. So that's kind of how I see this message. Now they go on to talk about the fact that they are rising now. And you're saying free will is available to all, this side and the other side. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. So, okay, so here's the next part. They say, this space of iniquity is gone, has passed, is present no longer. We rise within the frame of this time, leaving behind the courtesy of her, she who was our betrothed presence, our life assembler, the one we speak now into fruition. She is well, all parts accounted, She has risen, her presence felt well within the world of knowing, of God's loving glance. We cannot be moved from her. We stay within. We remain how we're to be, betrothed. So here, we'll break this down. They're talking about and I frequently have to look up words they use. So if you look at that and go like, what did that mean? You're not the only one. I have to look these up too. So anyways, they say this space of iniquity is gone, has passed, is present no longer. And that means like iniquity is like unjust. Like it's really like earth the way it's been, where things are like unfair and difficult and not good. Iniquity, it's like it's a yeah, really unjust, unfair, unkind. So this space where earth has been this karmic school where things have been difficult, they're saying this, and not that the new reality won't have difficulties, but the way things have been with this duality, they're saying the space of iniquity is gone, has passed, is present no longer. So keep in mind that the angels are, in terms of their understanding of time, they're not locked into the now that we are living. So sometimes through this part of it, they're talking a little bit in what is just beyond. They're talking about, they're perceiving the next step, and they're talking about that. So they're saying this karmic school that we are in, and the iniquity of this time has passed. So this is what's coming in the very near future. They are, because they have moved into the new reality, this is what they are experiencing now. But for us, it hasn't quite happened yet. So they say, we rise within the frame of this time. So with the time they're leaving within, in terms of our linear time, they're leaving now. And then they say, leaving behind the courtesy of her, leaving behind earth and the courtesy. So she's been our host, so leaving behind the courtesy of earth the way she has been. She who was our betrothed presence. So basically the angels were tied to earth. So that they're saying that they were like married. And this is because not all angels, but there is a specific school of angels, a group of angels that are tied to the earth school. And that group of angels, which are the angels that most of us know and love, are the ones that are tied to earth and to the earth school, and they're betrothed to her. And then as she progresses, they stay and they rise with her. And that's what they're saying here. And Jacko is saying, if you're willing, you're ready. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So they're saying, okay, so our betrothed, but our life assembler, the one we speak now into fruition. So the life assembler is basically like she's the one who's provided this reality for all of us. She's assembled this reality, created all the components and all of the life and the trees and the plants and the creatures and everything. She's the life assembler, earth, the one we speak now into fruition. So they're speaking her, the angels are within her, helping her to clear, to purge, to become this new incarnation of herself. They're speaking her into fruition. They're saying she is well. So on the other side where they are, they're saying she is well, all parts accounted for, all parts accounted. They're saying she has risen, her presence felt well within the world of knowing, of God's loving glance. They're saying that yet the earth is, from where they are, they're saying the earth is there. The earth is golden. She's made it. The earth has gone through her transition. But like I said, they are in the next moment. They're ahead of us now. They say we cannot be moved from her. We stay within. We remain how we're to be, betrothed. So this is part of the reason why they are moving on ahead of us, is they have to move on with the earth. They're tied to earth. They're betrothed to earth as part of how they're able. And they are also tied to us. But they're kind of, and here they say it in the next paragraph. So I'll read you this next section. They're trying to explain all this. And it's sometimes hard for us to grasp, hard for me to grasp. I don't know about you guys. They say, okay, next paragraph. You are rising now. We begin already. Our housing has shifted. No longer present where you are dimensionally, now we rise. We are above, within, yet beyond. We are gone, absent. Beneath you rise, you come up. Fear not the housing to shift, to change. We are working within the context of a new reality. It comes. Its herald we seek and display for you now. So there's a lot here, like I said, breaking it down. So they say, okay, to break down that paragraph, they say, you are rising now, which is the angelic now, right? Like you are rising in this kind of like general now time. But they say we begin already, which means that they've already started. So we're kind of rising in this general time, but they are ahead of us. So we begin already. That's them. They say our housing has shifted, which is sort of the form that they take on this planet. They're saying that the housing they always refer to is how is their consciousness embodied. So our housing is our physical body. Their housing is sort of a light body of sorts. They're saying their housing has shifted, no longer present where you are dimensionally. So they're not here in the same dimension with us now. They say, now we rise. We are above, within, yet beyond. So they're in both places. They're within, they're here within us, they're within our space, but they are also beyond. They're saying, we are gone, absent. Beneath you rise, you come up. And they say, fear not the housing to shift, to change. So don't be afraid of your own physicality changing. We are working within the context of a new reality. It comes. Its herald we seek and display for you now. So they part of the reason they want to move on ahead of us is so that they can then basically call us forward. It's like they're kind of go there and turn around and shine a light back to us so we know where to go, so we can follow that light and get to where we need to go. So they're ahead of us to kind of pave the way and to light the way for us to then move forward. And you're saying, so in their place, no such thing as climate change. Beautiful. That's my understanding. Yeah. And the angels have said that before, that don't worry about the earth, that the earth heals herself. So yeah, so that maybe that's true. Wouldn't that be phenomenal? Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. I understand that when we get to the new reality, that a lot of our focus in the new reality will be as stewards of the earth and the planet, that we will really take it to heart, that part of our role here will be as stewards of the earth. Yeah, like a total shift in what humanity is all about. So, which is an incredible thing to think about, that it's no longer about who can get ahead and be ahead. It's really about everybody sharing in the role and the responsibility of being a steward of the planet. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Anyways, it'd be interesting to hear what they have to say about that. That would be a cool message. Maybe we'll put a request in for that. That would be a cool topic if they feel like talking about it. Okay. So, so going on, so that's the whole idea. It's herald we seek to display for you now. So that's, like I said, they've talked about that in previous messages. They're going to be shining that light back to us, a herald, a calling to call us towards them. They go on to say, next paragraph, we are transitioning, going, arriving here. We play asunder, splayed in two dimensions. Release us, and we go now and come back not often. Until you move into readiness, we stay as we are. Our housing shifts, we move beyond, a new dimension unfolds. You are here now, right where we are, but not at this time. We move to merge this reality with your own time. We move to bring you under this protective shell of being, this new space of reality and life. You arrive, will come here, yet now seek to repair the distance. We are, in our separation, no longer felt. So let's break this paragraph down. And you're saying, love that we can be stewards, right? Yeah, me too. Love that we can be stewards. I do too. I think what a beautiful role to play on the earth. And think about how unifying that would be for humanity if that's what we're all focused on. Like how cool, what a cool vision for that, right? And to live sort of in that harmonic, that harmony, that balance would be just, yeah, it's a super, as far as I kind of hope, like, oh, I would love a message about that. That would be really cool. Okay. So this paragraph, breaking it down, they say, we are transitioning, going, arriving here. So transitioning means that it's not fully done, right? That they're in transition. And you got to look at, like, each word they say is important here. We are transitioning, going, arriving. It's not saying gone, arrived. It's like they're in the process of. And I believe this started with 11:11. That's why the message came through on 11:11. They said, we are transitioning. It's a process. Process has started as of 11:11. They say they're arriving here. We play asunder, splayed in two dimensions. So in other words, they have a foot in both places. They have a foot in the new reality and a foot where we are. They're sort of splayed in two dimensions, like playing asunder. So they're kind of like here and there. And they're saying, release us, and we go now and come back not often. So they're saying, if we were to release them, they're saying if they were to go fully, they wouldn't be able to come back as easily. So they don't want to transition fully. They want to stay in this transition stage so that they can help us. So they're saying, release us, and they go and they can't come back easily. So it's kind of a one-way thing. You go and it's hard to come back. So they're saying, until you move into readiness, we stay as we are. So they're going to stay in this transition period. They're going to stay kind of spread between the two, a foot in each, until we are ready to go. And which is great. Like, I think we're all relieved to hear that. We're like, yay, angels, stay with us. Don't leave us now. We are not quite ready. So they're going to stay and help us they're going to be the bridge, basically, to help us over. They're saying, our housing shifts. So their housing has shifted. Their I guess light body or whatever you want to call it has shifted. They say we move beyond. A new dimension unfolds. So it's this new space that's unfolding. It's happening now. They're saying the earth, in their reality as they are, they're saying the earth has already made it. They can see it already happened. And in their reality, they're saying you are here now, right where we are, but not at this time. So I love that. Like, that's so cool. They're saying we've already made it. That where they are, they see us, we're there. We've made it, but not at this time, not in the reality that we are currently living. But they can see it's already happened. From their perspective, done. It's a done deal. So great news, right? We make it. There's sort of like we've skipped ahead to the last chapter, we make it at the end, which is awesome. They say we move to merge this reality, the reality they see, with our own time. So they're trying to bring these two together. They're trying to help us through to sort of make that reality be what we are experiencing. They say we move to bring you under this protective shell of being, this new space of reality and life. So they're trying to help us get there to this new space of reality and like this new way of living. You arrive, you will come here, yet now seek to repair the distance. So they're trying, in the meantime, as we're going through this transition, they're trying to, the distance between us and them, between where they are, as they're kind of in this bridge state, as they're sort of between the two, they're trying to repair that distance. They're saying we are in our separation no longer felt. So this is big. So they're saying that for some of us, you may have felt their absence. And that might not be true for everybody because they're in transition. They're in the process of transitioning, and it's not a snap and over. It's a process. So from this point forward, you may start noticing if there is a time that you feel that the angels are absent or that you can't find them or you don't feel them. And you should still feel your guides. That's not the issue. It should be just specifically the angels that we're talking about. And so they're trying to repair that distance. And so my guess is that as we are transitioning, that given that the angels are going through a process, it may be a process for us as well. And we may drift into that reality and come back. I don't know. We'll have to see. But it sounds like they're saying they're trying to repair the distance to create this bridge to stay connected to us. And it's not that they've ever abandoned us. Like, they're here with us. Your guardian angel is tied to you. Like, you're together. They're with us. We're just, think of it as dimensions, as two things existing at the exact same time. But it's like you could be right next to an angel and have no concept of them being there because they're in the same space, but in another dimension. So hopefully that makes sense, but they can perceive us. All right. They go on to say, the last paragraph here, they're saying, we speak now to encourage. Your dearth of understanding of what will become leaves your mind enthralled. Fear comes. Let it not rise. Be well inside. Become enamored with us now, with our place of residence. Reach up. How we've become, find us now. Depart this realm a moment. How we've gone, departed, you shall come hither and rise too into this new dawn of awakening, no longer separate from ourselves. It's time now. We rise anon. So I think there's a lot in there so let's just talk about that paragraph quickly to break it down. But they say, they're trying to encourage us here, both for those people who are choosing to stay in the karmic construct and to not come, as well as to those of us who want to move on with them and go to this new reality. They're trying to encourage us all. They're saying your dearth of understanding, which is like the lack of information that we really can't see, right? We don't have insight into what will be. And it's very hard for us to imagine something that we've never experienced before, a brand new reality that's hard for us to wrap our heads around. So that dearth, which means like a lack of understanding of what will become, leaves your mind enthralled. So they're saying that it can really overtake our thinking and get us kind of wrapped in a loop of fear. They're saying fear comes, let it not rise. They really want us to be aware of fear and to do our best to try to rise above it, to listen to what they're telling us and to trust and have faith and be in flow, like Amina was saying, to stay in that flow, right? And they're saying, be well inside, become enamored with us now, with our place of residence. So they're saying that before they said they're sending back that beacon, right, that heralding with this light. They want us to become enthralled with that light, to really do our best to try to tune in to them and where they are now, to try to fixate on that light. And they're saying, become enthralled with us now, with our place of residence. And that's going to help us to move in that direction. They're saying, reach up. how we've become, find us now. So if you have felt connected to the angels before, they're saying reach up, and it's like they're still here. They just changed an octave. They've moved up. If we're all on a chart of music, they just switched up to a higher octave. And they're saying reach up and find us now, where they are now. So kind of put your antenna out. If you're used to connecting here, put your antenna out and try to feel, where are they now? Are they over here? Are they over here? Like reach out and feel and try to find them and look for them energetically. They're saying depart this realm a moment. So it's literally like they're saying just explore out with your perception and your awareness and seek them. And it's always going to be up, right? It's not out, it's going to be up. Seek up and out and find them and see if you can tune into the angels at a different frequency. They say they're saying depart this realm for a moment. It doesn't mean you're not ready. We're all not ready to transition just yet, but we can start forging that connection. How we've become, find us now. They say, depart this realm a moment. How we've gone, departed, you shall come hither and rise too. So this is where the same way they've gone, we're going to go that exact same way. Into this new dawn of awakening, no longer separate from ourselves. So we're going to go and we're going to be with them where they are. They're saying it's time now. So that's now. When you're asking about timing, they're saying it's time now. And given that is angelic now, but the fact that they're telling us that they are currently going through this transition, that they are in that space now. They're bridging between that space and this one. It means that the wheels are rolling. It's happening, and they see it as already done. So that's big. That means that, this is not a reversible. It's not like something's going to change and we're not going to make it. They are already living in the next moment, and it's already happened. They say we rise anon, which is like the word anon is like immediately, like just now, like just in a second, like in the next second. Like, oh, it just happened. I'm just kidding. So that is the message. So, wow, right? Like there's so much there and so much to digest. I had to go back and read this a couple of times before I could share it with you. Because there's a lot in every sentence and a lot to take in. But I think that the key things to hold on to here is this idea that, okay, the angels are they told us this was going to happen, and now they're saying it's happening. So it's a really different message. Before it was very clearly this will happen in the future. And now it is, this is happening now. They are going through this now. So pay attention to your own, what you're sensing, what you're feeling, your own connection. And if you feel a shift, if you feel like if something's missing, if you don't feel their presence, they're saying, try to reattune to where they are, try to find them. And that's going to help us all. If you have experiences with this, then please come in, share it, share it in the comments, come into the group, the Facebook group, and share it with us. So, anyways, amazing, amazing, amazing. I am excited to think about where we are all headed. Hopefully the message that they gave to the people who are not coming along, hopefully that was of comfort and helpful. I think, like I said, it's really important for us to remember that everyone is supported, that there is no judgment about where someone chooses to go or to stay, that it's all about learning, that it's all for us. It's really just about where are we going to receive the most benefit. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I hope you have something fun planned. I'm still going to be working on my remodel. Making headway, though, making headway. I've got lights. That's the biggest thing. Most recently, I now have lights at my house, which is very exciting. You're saying, here we are. We're saying that was so amazing. I'm so glad. I will probably listen to this again. There was so much. I totally agree. Like, I'm literally going to have to read this again because there's like in each sentence, they pack stuff in and it's very specific. Their word choice is so specific. Yeah, thank you. You're saying, Jacko is saying, to reattune with them, you mean that is done by increasing our vibration further. Do you know, I don't think it's necessarily about increasing our vibration. I think that it would be about, it's almost like, think of it as like a radio where you're like the old fashioned radios where you had to kind of tune the dial to try to find the station that you're trying to tune into. And I think we have to change the dial, that we've been used to tuning into them at one specific place on the frequency band, and now they've shifted to a new frequency. So we have to move our antenna and move it to where we have to hunt around on the band to try to find them and then reattune to where they are. And I think that's the process. So it's literally like, think of your energetic apparatus. Like we are like a giant radio receiver, like an antenna. and we receive information in all different ways. Your body radiates information. Your body isn't like both it broadcasts and receives. So, and they're saying their frequency, their call numbers, right? It used to be that they were 101.5 and now they're 107.5, and we have to hunt around until we find them. So, and that's going to be a process of experimentation, which is so much about how this whole earth experience is, right? You got to just try and then hunt around and see what you learn, see what you can find. And you're saying, thank you, such a great message. I'm really glad you liked it. To me, I felt like it's a hard message in some ways, but also a really cool one. You know what I mean? Really cool and beautiful too. You're saying, thank you. Interesting. This is going to be a hoot. Well, when you have your experience, you got to come back and share it with us. Let us know what you experienced. That would be cool. So, okay. You're saying you're so gentle with this hard stuff, though. I thank you. Thank you. I do feel it. There's times as I get these messages, like when I first started receiving this message and they're talking about your body's lying askew and, like when that happens, you just got to dig in and just keep going and remember that the thing is that they always speak in love. Even the hardest topics, they always speak in such kindness and such love and such caring. And the truth, the reality is this, this physical stuff, it doesn't actually matter. And it's hard for us sometimes because the people that we love are in these bodies. So it's hard sometimes to let go of that, but that's the truth of it, that at the end of the day, this physical stuff is just, it's just a housing to keep us here, to let us have this experience. So I thank you. Love your lightness and humor. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you guys for making such a welcoming space, for making this a safe space to share this stuff. I really appreciate it. It's wonderful to feel not alone in this. So, all right, you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next Friday live. Bye-bye.